The rain fell like a warning that night, cold, relentless, and unforgiving. It painted the city in shadows, each streetlight flickering like it knew something terrible was about to unfold. Inside a sprawling mansion on the outskirts, silence ruled like a king. Everyone believed he wouldn't be back until morning. Everyone was wrong. The iron gates creaked open as a black car rolled in, headlights slicing through the darkness. The guards at the entrance straightened instantly, their posture snapping into rigid obedience. No one spoke. No one dared to. Because the man stepping out of that car was not just powerful, he was feared. He was the kind of man whose name made rivals disappear and allies tremble. And tonight, he wasn't supposed to be here. Inside the mansion, soft footsteps echoed in the marble hallway. Elena, the maid, moved quickly, her breath uneven, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted the tray she was carrying. She had worked here for years, long enough to understand one rule above all. Never be seen. Never be heard. But tonight, something felt wrong. The air was different. Heavy. Dangerous. She paused near the grand staircase, her instinct screaming at her to stop. And then she heard it, the distant rumble of a car engine cutting off. Her heart dropped. No, she whispered under her breath. He's back. The tray slipped slightly in her hands, glasses clinking together. Panic rose like fire in her chest. The staff had been told clearly, no one expected him tonight. The house wasn't prepared. And worse. Someone else was inside. Someone who shouldn't be. Footsteps echoed from the entrance hall, slow, deliberate, controlled. Each step carried authority, power, and suspicion. Elena froze. She knew that walk. There was no mistaking it. The boss had returned. She quickly turned the corner, her mind racing. If he found out what was happening upstairs, if he saw who was in that room, everything would collapse. Lives would end. Without thinking, she rushed up the stairs, her pace quick but careful. Every second mattered now. Every second could mean the difference between silence and chaos. She reached the door. Her hand hovered in the air. Should she knock? No time. She pushed it open just enough to slip inside. Wake up, she whispered urgently. The man inside stirred, confused, disoriented. What? Don't speak, she cut him off, her voice barely audible but sharp with fear. He's here. That was all it took. The color drained from his face instantly. That's impossible, he whispered. He's downstairs, she replied. Now listen to me carefully, you have to hide. If he finds you. A loud sound echoed from below. A door slamming. Both of them froze. The tension in the room thickened, suffocating. He's already inside, Elena said, her voice trembling now. Footsteps began to climb the stairs. Slow. Measured. Closer. Every step was like a countdown. The man's breathing grew heavier. Panic threatened to take over, but Elena grabbed his arm tightly. Stay silent, she whispered. Those two words carried more than fear. They carried a secret. A truth that, if revealed, would destroy everything. The footsteps stopped just outside the door. Silence. Then. The handle moved. Elena's heart stopped. And in that moment, she realized something far worse than being caught. This wasn't just a surprise visit. He already knew. The door creaked open slowly. Too slowly. Like a predator savoring the moment before the strike. Elena stood frozen, her pulse roaring in her ears. The man behind her barely dared to breathe. Time itself seemed to hold its breath as the shadow stretched across the floor. Then he stepped in. Calm. Composed. Deadly. His eyes scanned the room, sharp and calculating. Nothing escaped him. Not the slight tremor in Elena's hands. Not the tension in the air. And certainly not the fear. "You look surprised," he said quietly. His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It carried authority that crushed everything beneath it. I didn't expect you tonight, sir," Elena replied, forcing her voice to remain steady. A faint smile appeared on his lips. "That's the idea." His gaze shifted, moving across the room with surgical precision. Every detail was being processed, analyzed, judged. He took a step forward. Then another. Each movement was controlled, deliberate. He wasn't searching. He was confirming. "Tell me," he said, his voice dropping slightly, "why does this room feel occupied?" Elena's throat tightened. She knew this moment would come. But she wasn't prepared for how terrifying it would be. "I was just cleaning." "Stop." One word. Sharp as a blade. The silence that followed was unbearable. He turned his head slightly, as if listening, sensing. Then his eyes moved. Directly to the closet. Elena's heart shattered. He knows. There was no more pretending. No more hiding. The boss walked slowly toward the closet, his expression unreadable. The air grew colder with every step. Elena's mind raced. Should she confess? Should she run? Should she stay silent? She whispered it again, almost instinctively. But this time, it wasn't just for the man hiding. It was for herself. Because she finally understood the truth. The door opened. And the man inside stepped out. But something unexpected happened.